Right, well this is, for 2007, this is our new All Solid Wood Acoustics, and as you can see it's a really lovely piece in terms of appointments and detail, but to give you a little insight into what I try to do with design, and we'll start up with the headstock. Obviously, when you create something visually, you want to make a statement, and that's what this headstock does. But there's so much more mechanically you can also achieve. If you look at the whole line, you'll notice that our headstocks are just a little bit smaller, right? And the reason for that is when you reduce the resonant surface of that headstock, in other words, the area that resonate, you're dragging less energy off the string. So you automatically pick up a hotter string. And by making it a little smaller, you also reduce the distance from the nut to the machine head, and that almost exponentially increases downward pressure at the nut. What that means is with that tight connection, the energy can't pass the nut. Again, a hotter string. Try to keep, I make the gears converge rather than flare, so you get a fairly nice straight path. The strings don't bind up when you're tuning. And it's just a little bit lighter too. So 4 things that kind of add to that, and we always use this laser cut gold foil, which kind of adds a nice, even on our least expensive satin guitars. Grover machine heads, of course, and with me that's a little bit emotional. My first replacement gears were Grovers, and I just think they not only, the design, if you look at our line, is all very soft and sexy curves, and it kind of does, it plays into that, but they're just a great gear. I think a 13 to 14:1 ratio. On this series, I use a 3-piece rosewood mahogany neck, and that little bit of extra lamination makes the neck more rigid, and that also helps performance, because the neck, if you think about it, when you hit a string, it's almost like a shock absorber, and when you make that rigid, you reduce that tendency, so again the string stays a little hotter. Put a nice maple cap on the back of the heel, a little bit softer edge there. You notice the whole guitar is bound in flame maple, which I think is really pretty. You see that on $4,000 guitars. The top is Sitka spruce, and you can usually tell that with a little bit more of a caramel grain line. If you see a real white top, it's generally a German or a Japanese spruce. That tends to be a little edgier or brighter. This is a little more warmer, worked-in sound. And Sitka is probably the most popular top. It enhances, it's got a nice, rich, tight bass and a nice primary high end. So if you're really a passionate player, if you do the coffee house thing, it's a really great guitar. It stands up to a little heavier touch. Always do the contour on the fingerboards. It's made up with the sound hole, Avalon type rosette. You notice the bridges all have a curve on the edge that eliminates the stress cracking you can get especially those guys in Canada and Colorado, you know, the cracking can be a problem. This we use rosewood, which, as you know, gives a nice, thick, low-end response. And rosewood guitars tend to get, people think of them as strictly bassy. There is a very nice high end, but it's a bit covered up with the bass. Rosewood pickguard, kind of match the sides, the back. It's a polyurethane, but it's electrostatically applied, so we can get a really thin finish, and which also makes the final process of buffing nicer. Compensated saddle, and just a really nice feel. The neck has got enough beef to it that it's going to stay straight, make a punchy string, but really comfortable in your hand. And it's just sort of a wonderful image piece we're working on to elevate the brand and really make a statement in the market. And there you go. Gearheads.